So I made a post on Threads a few hours ago and it already has 2,000 views, which is pretty cool. And I said, how to get better at making beats. Step 1, make a lot of beats. Step 2, that's it. And I think it's interesting more so for the replies than anything. Now, there were a few people who gave their opinions and some of them really disagreed with what I had to say. It's like less than like freaking 15 words here and they were pretty angry. So I introduced them to the block button. It is what it is. But everyone else here was pretty tame. So I really want to go to this one first, which is by this girl named Janetta, actually, who is a music supervisor. So she actually really knows what she's talking about here. And so she says, I know folks who have been making beats for 20 plus years and they still haven't gotten any better than their first beat. But I definitely get your point because not everyone's the same. And yeah, I definitely know people like this too, that they're just dog shit at making beats no matter what they do. But I think the real functional part of her statement is this second half right here, where it's like, not everyone is the same. And so what I have come to understand when people say they're practicing making beats or they're making a lot of beats and they're not getting better, they're really, for one, not practicing as much as they think they are, right? Like just working on the same project for like a month is not making beats, bro. You gotta be trapping, you gotta be in that mug really pumping the beats out. It is what it is, and it's always been like that. That's not a new occurrence. It's not because of like the way the state of creativity is now. It's just like beat makers have always had to like make a lot of stuff. In general, in art, you have to make a lot of stuff. Painters paint a lot of paintings, singers make a lot of songs, songwriters write a lot of songs. Like you have to like do a lot of the thing to get good at it. If you want to get good at shooting free throws in basketball, you're gonna have to shoot a lot of free throws. So it would be no different in art and creativity, but for some reason people think that it is. The other part, which is something that people mentioned actually in reply to her and then just on the thread in general, is that it's because they don't listen. To improve, you have to actually listen to quality beats and music. Then you put it against your own stuff and see how you measure up. That's important as well. And so we could go back to the basketball analogy and think about it from that perspective, because I think it'll be really helpful for bringing home the point I'm trying to make by doing this video at all. And it's that to get better at shooting free throws, ideally you would want two things. You'd want someone who's already good at free throws to give you instructions on how to shoot those free throws, but then you would also want to model your free throw shooting form after someone who's really good at shooting free throws. So when I was trying to get better at basketball when I was like in middle school, because that was basically the last time I ever played basketball before they forced me into football, which was for the best, but I was hurt about it. But anyway, Kobe's my favorite player. So I modeled. First of all, I watched a shit ton of YouTube tutorials on how to shoot free throws, right? So it's like point your toes towards the basket, you know, tuck the elbow, flick the wrist, flick the wrist, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, all those things that you're supposed to do when you're shooting a basketball. Set your feet, you know, bounce your shoulders, whatever. But then I also looked at how Kobe shot his free throws, and there was like a very specific way he would like arch his elbow, and there was a very specific way that he would follow through. And I studied that as well. And I think, for one, it did help. I wasn't ever like super good at shooting free throws, but that helped me get like, it helped me double my percentage basically. So it was very, very helpful to like go through that mechanism of practice. And I think the same kind of systemology can be applied to trying to get better at beats. It's not just making beats, right? Because if I try to get better at shooting free throws and what I do is I just take the ball and chuck it overhead at the rim 1,000 times, all I'm doing is practicing really bad form. So that's an important thing as well, right? If you want to get better at music, study the technique of music. So, right, come under the instruction of someone who's good at making music so they can teach you. Consume lessons on to YouTube, watch tutorials, buy courses, things of that nature. Do whatever you've got to do so that you're learning and immersing yourself in the actual technique, but then also study the music that you want to sound like so that you can compare yourself to it. Every time I was trying to emulate Kobe, I was also comparing my own shooting form, because I would like record myself and stuff, to how Kobe was doing it in the game. Or, you know, YouTube was way less prevalent when I was in middle school, but it was still a thing, right? And so there was, if you could catch it, there would be videos of Kobe just at practice. So I would compare how Kobe was shooting at practice, how Kobe was shooting in the game, to how I was practicing my free throws, and that was really helpful. And I think That's how you should look at music if you want to get better, right? Of course, you're still going to have to shoot a lot of free throws. Like, no amount of studying Kobe and no amount of watching tutorials is going to make me better at shooting those free throws. That's not alone what actually made me better at shooting free throws. I then had to get out there and shoot thousands of them and then I got better, right? I've made thousands of beats and that's why I'm good at beats. I've made thousands of beats and that's why I make money with beats. It's not just because I study making beats. It's not just because I study my favorite producers like Wonder Girl, Metro Boomin, Southside, Kanye, K Tronada, Pharrell, insert other great Lido. I could keep naming really dope producers, right? But that's not the point of this video. Maybe I'll do like a my top 10 producers video sometime soon. I'd actually like to do that on this channel. That would be pretty fun. The point is, no amount of that studying and no amount of that learning is a stand-in for actually doing the goddamn work. I actually have a thread about that. Let me see if I can find it. It was this one, but I also had a lot of different threads that kind of talked about this. But I was thinking about how I met a producer, and this literally was the case, who watches every tutorial from every content creator and his beats suck. I met another guy who got really good at one trick from one video. He got a placement on a TV show. Knowledge with no action isn't learning, it's mindless consumption. And that's kind of the whole point that I'm trying to nail home here, right? If you want to get better at something, there's two aspects to it. There's actually learning the technique and emulating, which is a form of learning, right? We learn everything that we do through emulation. You learn to talk, walk, and think by watching the adults around you when you were a baby. You did it unconsciously because it's something we do automatically. It's one of the most inbuilt functions we have as human beings. But then the other thing that actually allowed us to talk, think, and walk the way we do is repeating it over and over again until it became automatic. So there were a lot of other comments. Some people got blocked for their comments, but I did think that this one by Janetta was the most interesting, and I'll definitely be checking out her mailing list because I always love to tap in with music supervisors. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.